It's that time of year again. Love is in the air. People are buying flowers for the ones they care about. Those struck by Cupid's arrow are making advances, and gamers are sitting in their corners wallowing in various degrees of sadness and loneliness. It's Valentine's Day. Hi, I'm Jay Renzo, and I've got a story to tell you about the biggest crush I've ever had. I made some smart decisions, and significantly more dumb decisions, but most importantly, I learned valuable lessons about myself and the world around me. You ready? Okay. Let me paint you a picture. I was in middle school, I had a few friends, mostly guys, but there was this group of girls I'd started hanging out with recently. I don't recall exactly when I began to consider them my friends, but I guess that's not too important. What is important is this one girl. For the sake of the video, I'm gonna call her Kirby, because she was really cute, but her skin was also weirdly pink. Anyway, I somehow began to develop feelings for this girl not too far into the year. Probably sometime in late September. Why, you ask? Simple. She didn't actively despise me. Back then, that was totally enough for me to consider someone my friend. Add on that she was indisputably one of the prettiest girls in our class, and I was sold. I had to somehow win her heart. Now, the first step in my master plan was to get her phone number. The logical thing to do, the confident thing to do, would be to, ask for her phone number. But logic was below me. I was gonna get this done smoothly. She wouldn't even suspect I had a crush on her. The plan was to ask her to send me something, and when she inevitably pointed out that she didn't have my phone number, I'd take out a piece of paper with my number on it and slide it to her across the table. Now, I came up with this plan on a weekend, and the idea was to do it on Monday when I got back to school. The crazy thing is, I had a dream about the scenario unfolding on the night before I planned to do it. In the dream, everything went smoothly, so I figured it'd have to be the same in real life. When I sat down with Kirby and her friends at lunch, things were going as they usually did. Only thing out of the ordinary was that my friend Jamie was there, temporarily bringing the number of guys in the group up to 2. At some point, I decided it was time. I asked Kirby what her favorite song was. The idea was for her to say a name, for me to say, never heard of it, you should send it to me, and for the rest of the plan to go smoothly. Instead, she struggled to find an answer, couldn't think of one, and went back to chatting with the other girls. I didn't let this faze me, though. I asked her, "What's the funniest video you've ever seen?" hoping this would be an easier question to answer. She conveniently didn't hear me. Fortunately, though, Jamie did acknowledge me, and being the excellent wingman he is, he alerted Kirby that I'd asked a question. She answered, saying it was a video of Jamie. Then, it was my time to shine. Haven't seen it. You should send it to me. I don't even have you. Oh yeah, I felt like an absolute legend. The operation had gone off without a hitch, just like I dreamed it would. It was only a matter of time before Kirby was head over heels for me. The only question was what she'd text me first. Kirby never texted me. She told me later that she'd lost the phone number. Yeah, right. See, what I should have done there is cut my losses and moved on with life. What I did instead was give her my phone number again and tell her not to lose it this time. She still did. Twice. She must be one forgetful gal, huh? Somehow, none of this deterred me. I keep a journal about a lot of my inner thoughts and big decisions I need to make, and most of the entries from around this time are about who I had a crush on. Interestingly, I seem to be under the impression that telling someone I liked them meant I had to take them on a date. Kinda stupid how I even considered that, since back then I wasn't even allowed outside on my own. But anyway, I was racking my brain looking for a way to confess my crush on this girl. All the while, the weight of this knowledge seemed to hold me down tighter and tighter. Until finally, I had an idea. A surprisingly decent idea out of context, but one that I would soon execute quite poorly. I was going to write Kirby a love poem. Now, if you know me, you know I like to sing, and even write songs. So a poem seems right up my alley. But let me remind you that my writing wasn't always as good as it is now. I mean, in a few years I'll probably think my current writing is bad, but still, it was worse then. And it's not like the kids at my school were young and dumb enough to think my bad writing was good. Even then, we could tell it sucked. Now, I wrote this poem twice. Once on a piece of paper I used to draft it, and once on the much less messy final paper I'd eventually give to Kirby. Sadly, the latter has been lost to time, but I still have the original draft to this day. Let me read to you my hilariously bad love poem, but obviously with all names censored. These past few months I've spent with you were definitely time well spent. But so far, this entire year through, we've called each other just friends. I wanted to give you this card to take some weight off my shoulders. It's always been so very hard, feels like the weight of boulders. Though I know many other girls, like Name, Name, and Name that rhymes with Kirby, the only one who rocks my world like you is you, Kirby. Though it is so very scary, and it feels like I'm crossing some lines, I wanted to ask you this query. Will you be my Valentine? I know. A beautiful work of art. Here, have some time to wipe the tears off of your face. Now, of course, I bet you're wondering how the drop-off went and how she reacted. Well, as the last stanza implies, this was a Valentine's Day card. The day before Valentine's Day, we were on a field trip, so while we were boarding the bus to get home, I very discreetly slipped her the card. Then, I sat down with my friend for the ride back to school and waited. When we got back to school, nothing. Some quick glances of eye contact, I guess, but I didn't know what they meant. The next day was Valentine's Day, the moment of truth. And on that day, she said exactly 3 words to me. Hi, okay, and my name. I assumed she hated me. The next day, she was absent, so I couldn't really ask for clarification, and then finally, 2 days after Valentine's Day, I got to talk to her. And do you know what she thought of my poem? She thought I was joking. I had to explain to her that I really did like her and wouldn't have written a whole poem otherwise. Considering how she interpreted my poem, I wasn't all that surprised when she ended up rejecting me. After all this happened, I still hung out with the group of girls. But eventually I realized the only reason I still did so was because of Kirby. And as it turned out, not only did she not like me romantically, she didn't like me at all. I don't think the two of us were ever really friends. All the time I spent hanging out with that group, with people who didn't really appreciate me, was time that I wasted. And after a while, I just stopped talking to them. And not one of them seemed to be affected. Not in the slightest. You'd think this realization would hurt me, but frankly, the idea that we were never really friends had been lingering in the back of my mind for a long time. So I decided to spend less time chasing someone unattainable, and spend a lot more time with my real friends. In the end, I really didn't have a good reason to like her. And I guess that's the lesson I want you guys to take away from this video. Think about the reasons you do things, the reasons you like people. Sometimes your crush doesn't care about you, but more often than not, that's just because they aren't the right person for you. So spend time with the people who do care. I can't speak for everyone, but I'd rather be single and have real friends than be in a completely fabricated relationship. Okay, that's all for the video. Sorry about that part at the end where I accidentally showed emotion. Next video, we'll be right back to the sarcasm and deadpan humor. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, dislike the video if you despise me and all I stand for, comment below if you've had a similar experience, and subscribe to the channel for more content of varying quality. Happy Valentine's Day, and this is JRenzo10, signing off. I know, a beautiful... Now, of course, Okay. Then, I sat down with my friend for the... Okay, that's all for the video. Sorry about that part. Okay, that's all for... Whoa! Okay. Dislike the video if you despise me and all I stand for. Comment below if you God damn it!